Hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Dami and I'm a YouTuber based in London, Ontario, Canada. I love to share immigration content and also lifestyle content. Feel free to join this family by clicking on the subscribe button down below and also turn on post notification so you'll be the first to get my videos every single time that I post a video. In today's video, I'll be talking about some specific courses that you shouldn't consider coming to study in Canada based on different reasons, which I'm going to be going into. So if this is something that you're interested in seeing or interested in knowing about, like this video right now before we even go into it. So quick disclaimer before I start, anything I say in this video is based on my own experiences or based on things that I've researched or things that I've heard from other people. I am not an immigration lawyer and I'm not an immigration consultant. I do not work with immigration. Anything I say, like I said, is based on my own experiences and my own research. Without any further delay, let's get right into today's video. This video is going to be about some courses that I would advise you not to come and study in Canada. The first course that you shouldn't consider based on different reasons is short courses. I'm not talking about courses that are like a year or 8 months, because I did a 1-year program which was actually for 8 months, not even 1 year. But short courses that I'm talking about are courses that are just short certification courses. It lasts between 4 weeks to like 8 weeks, and these programs do not give you postgraduate work permits. It's possible for you to go to a university or a college that issues postgraduate work permits to study a short course, but trust me, that short course is not going to give you a postgraduate work permit. So if you're using an agent that tell you, oh, you actually don't need to come to Canada to study for 8 months or 1 year or 2 years, and you can remain in Canada. So a lot of people are very desperate to come to Canada right now, I know, and so many people just take any information they get and they just run with that information without doing a proper research. So short courses are only certification courses for people that just want a specific knowledge on that specific course. These courses are similar to courses that you can do on Coursera or on Udemy or any free or any online certification websites. So yeah, those courses do not give you a postgraduate work permit. For you to get a postgraduate work permit in Canada, it has to be a course that is for at least 8 months. So this means that when you study a short course, you do not have the opportunity to remain in Canada when you're done with school. So if your intention is to come to Canada and to remain in Canada, please do not come for a short course. Come for an actual program that would last you for at least 8 months in a school that is a designated learning institution. Or the next course that I'm going to talk about that you should not even consider coming to study is any course that is not in line with what you have done previously. What I mean by that is any course that is not in line with your previous work experience or with your previous course of study. So if you studied, for instance, if your undergraduate program was in English language and maybe you finished school, you got a job as an administrative person, administrative assistant or administrative officer, and you now want to come to Canada and you want to come to Canada to study something related to the medical field, those are completely opposite. And the first thing is that you will probably not get an admission from the school to study that program because you have nothing backing you to come and study that program. And the second thing is that even if the school gives you an admission to come and study that program, you probably would not be able to get a study permit approved, because how do you explain the connection between those three courses, those three experiences that you've talked about? The last thing is that even if you come to Canada, if you were given a study permit to come and study that program in Canada, you probably would not even be able to cope when you come to the program. You probably, because you have no history, you have no experience in that field, you probably would not be able to come to Canada to assimilate that program properly and do well in that program. That being said, just think of something that is related to the program that you actually have experience in. The next thing I will talk about is extremely expensive courses. I know people come to Canada with the aim to come for that program, eventually get into the working environment, start a job, get a good job, and start making money. But I always ask people, you're coming to study a program that's cost you about maybe $30,000 or $40,000 per year, and this program is for 2 years. Eventually, you're spending about 80,000 Canadian dollar to come and study for a program. 80,000 Canadian dollar to come and, like, I'm just trying to think of how ridiculously expensive that program is. So you're coming to study that program and you're spending like $80,000 eventually when you finish doing that program, and you enter the job market. Number one, what's the return on investment? That's the question I would ask. There is really no return on investment. If you finish that program, what are the chances that you get a job that actually pays more than 80,000 Canadian dollar per year? The average person in Canada does not even earn up to 80,000 Canadian dollar, depending on your province. I don't think there's any province that the average earning is 80,000 Canadian dollar per year. So weigh these options. If you're studying a program that you know that for sure there's no how, when you finish your program, you definitely get a good job that pays way more than the amount that you invested into that program, then feel free to each his own. But I would advise you that you look for something that is not as expensive as 80,000 Canadian dollar. Like, I have heard people say that their program was about 70,000 Canadian dollar for 2 years, but they got scholarship that reduced it. If you got a scholarship, that's good. But if you're not getting a scholarship and you want to come and study a ridiculously expensive course in Canada, think about the return on investment. Are you going to actually make that money? Is it a good investment eventually? Like, think about it before you rush into it. The last and final thing I'll talk about is programs that need certifications. So there are some specific programs that when you finish that program, then you need to still register for it to be certified in that program. So for instance, someone that studied project management, I'm just going to say this quickly. You don't even need to go to a university. Like, you don't need to actually have a degree in project management to be a project manager. There are so many people that just go get the certification, study for the certification, pass the certification, and become an accredited project manager. They have their PMP and they get good jobs in Canada. If what you intend on coming to study is something similar to that, a course that you know that you still need to get a certification before you can actually practice that program. It depends, trust me. There are some people that come to study law and you need to be called to the bar of Canada before you can actually become a lawyer in Canada. That's a totally different thing. That's like totally different. You need to have a law degree for you to actually study law. But those courses that you do not need a degree to work in that field. So project management was just a very good example. I'm not saying that if you're already in school studying project management, or you've already gotten an admission to study project management, that you should cancel your admission. That is not what I'm saying. Like, project management just fits the description of what I'm trying to explain pretty well. Don't spend $20,000 for a course that only needs a certification that would cost you probably $500 or $1,000 to be certified and practice in that field. If your aim is just to come to Canada, let me just enter Canada and get a job in Canada, start living my life in Canada, then please do your research and don't waste your money. I know everybody wants to come to Canada. So many people are desperately waiting to come to Canada, and anything anybody tells them, they do. So don't be desperate. Do your research. Make sure you know what you want. Make sure you don't waste your money studying an expensive course. Make sure you don't waste your money studying a course that is a short course and you intend on staying in Canada, because you will eventually be turned back to your country. Make sure you also don't waste your money studying a course that would only need you to have a certification to practice that field. That's everything I have about this video. It was just something that came to my mind because I heard somebody's story and I was like, let me just talk about this really quickly. Somebody may see this video and it would be impactful to them because they probably are close to making these mistakes, And yeah, feel free to send this video to your friends, to your family, anybody that you think are ready to come to Canada and just needs information about Canada. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel and also give this video a like. Make sure you also check out some of my other content as well. I have a lot of videos that are super helpful for people that are intending on coming to Canada to study. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.